I wish I hadn't bothered.
Yeah.
After that, because it was, as I've said in other videos, probably. You do feel like you say it's one of the worst I've ever seen us play. Quite a lot, but there was just something different about today that felt particularly bad. We didn't do anything well, did we?
I went to Chelsea when they beat us 8-0, and I don't think that was as bad as I felt after this, or watching during this one. I generally felt like my heart went funny a little bit when we were between 1 and 2-0 down. It just felt soul destroying.
I mean, you did have that dodgy burger as well that may have led to some issues with the insides.
That's true.
Bacon and onion.
It was really, really dreadful.
Yeah.
There's nothing good to take from today.
No, I mean, we talk about that Chelsea game 8-0. You did feel that we were in a period of transition, really. At that point, it was Lambert's first season. We were trying to get the wage bill down, and we were bringing in unknowns and stuff. So it was a bit. That was a naive performance, but you could kind of think you could forgive it because of where we were at. Today was not. I don't even know if it was naive, actually. I don't know what today was.
Today felt clueless.
Despondent. It was a despondent display. It was like you go 1-0 down early from a set play, and as soon as that ball came in, I felt like their guy was going to win a header, and we were going to be in trouble. And from then on, it was just like almost like we accepted defeat. It felt like to me. I never felt we were going to come back into that game at 1-0, 2-0, definitely not at 3-0, 4-0.
I guess it gets less likely as it goes on.
I don't know. We didn't do, as I say, we didn't do anything well, and that's a concerning thing. Like, we've always been able to say that last season we were always able to think that we'd get a win because we were good at the back. But I've not seen us being good at the back all season. I've just felt like we're going to ship goals, and you look at the personnel there, and I just feel like there's more goals to be shipped. And on a day like today, we didn't look like scoring at all. So we're asking for trouble, aren't we?
It's also disappointing when you are 3-0 down at half time, the team comes out and it's exactly the same as it was in the first half, and it's like, what are you expecting here to have magically happened?
Yeah, if you're not making a sub at 3-0 down at half time, no, I don't think you should ever be making a sub.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when did Connor come on? Was it 4-0 at the time?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, what's he going to do at 3-0? But 4-0, the game's completely lost. At that point, I'd be inclined to say, well, the players that are out there have got us into that situation. I'm going to let them finish the game. But even when a sub comes on, it feels like, so Connor came on for Twanzebe, who seems to be the first one to be sacrificed every time now. Why is he starting at right back? He's just the one that gets pulled off every time, and Elmo moves back to right back. Let's just start Elmo at right back.
Yeah,
and move Twanzebe inside. That didn't look comfortable again today because it's a mobile side with good movement and quick passing. That's not the game for him at centre back. It's not his fault. It's not the game for him there.
Elmo Hamady was very effective at right back last season, and I don't understand why we wouldn't give him a chance of keeping him at right back. And like you said, I think in the podcast, Albert Adoma back at right mid, or playing him at right back, playing Twanzebe at centre back. It just seems beyond me a little bit.
I mean, the other thing was, I looked at the bench today, and other than Connor and Hepburn Murphy who came on, I mean, you've got Lansbury, Connor, Bjarnason, 3 central midfielders on the bench.
Yeah, Bree,
Hepburn Murphy, Bree, and Taylor, 2 full-backs.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there that's going to particularly change that game other than Connor, really. I mean, I think it's a big ask for Hepburn Murphy to come in at the moment because we look so devoid of ideas going forward. I think it's a bit much to expect him to come on and do something, although he did show brief flashes, but I do kind of feel like he's got no chance coming into that situation.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I thought there was a couple of moments in the corner near us where he turned really nicely and he showed a bit of skill and a bit of pace, but he was never going to make effective change. I mean, it's 4-1 anyway, but he's so small and so alone, he's never going to make effective change.
I mean, I think we've got to look at a formation change. That 4-3-3 worked really well for us last season, but it isn't working this season. It's for whatever reason, that formation is not been effective. We're going to have to move Jack into number 10 because I don't think Codger's at his best, but you're playing as a lone striker, there's no one anywhere near him.
Yeah.
So he then comes deep looking for the ball, which means we've got no focal point. Jack's coming deep looking for the ball, so you've got your most dangerous player coming and getting the ball off centre halves, basically. I think it was one point Rollo said Whelan was the furthest man forward.
Yeah.
I thought Whelan was okay today, but I know Bruce won't play with the three central midfielders that I want him to in a 4-3-3, but we're playing with a designated defensive midfielder and we're still shipping goals, so I don't see why Connor can't play that deep role. At least he tries to play the forward pass when he comes on. At least he has a crack.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, we've got to try something different now because that 4-3-3 is not working and it's not getting the best out of our better players.
Yeah. What did you think? I mean, what do you think of Neeland today?
It's tough for him. I mean, the first few mistakes I can kind of forgive him because it's early days. I think he ended up put the frighteners on him in the first game with that back pass, and then he's made a mistake in the Ipswich game, which can happen. I'd need to see the goals back, but the free kick, you can't be getting beat from there, I don't think, and that's the goal that's effectively completely killed any chance of us getting in the game. You said that you thought the wall was a bit iffy, but he's lined that wall up.
Oh, so I looked, there was only one man in the wall, I forget who it was, but I stuck my head round because I was like, I'm sure there's a gap there.
Why didn't you say something?
Oh, I should have shouted to him. That was my fault, really. My fault, really. But and then Norwell whips the ball in round there, and there's just my worst fear realised as it's happening. Usually it doesn't happen. Usually I can't read the game well enough to make that kind of prediction.
Good honesty.
Yeah, but that was dreadful. And then he gave the ball away for their fourth goal, rolling it out in a dangerous situation, which was well read by Sheffield United.
It reminded me a bit of Guzan, that fourth rollout when he was at the end of his time at Villa, just rushing and putting us under pressure. I get that you're trying to come forward, obviously, and start a counter attack. It's a shame for him because he'd been good the games previous, the couple of games previous. He'd had some good moments, but you realise he's going to take time to settle still, and I'm not going to knock him because I want to give him time. But the first team, you don't get time, do you? If you're costing your team goals. Well, but then I'm not convinced it would be any different with Moreira in, because again, he's not used to the English game.
But it comes back to what we talked about. I can't remember who asked the question on Instagram about how did you find our transfer window, and the goalkeeper situation just seems odd because it doesn't feel like we've got an upgrade to steer, and we've brought in two lone keepers and shipped out Steer, and I just feel like
Neeland's a permanent.
Sorry, yes, you're right, but then we brought in Moreira anyway, and Steer could be doing that job. Had a okay game against Hull, and then we never see him again. It just seems very strange.
I mean, Neeland might turn out to be a wonderful goalkeeper for us, but at the moment, Johnston is a very big miss.
Yeah,
very big miss in that defence. You realise how good he was now. I mean, I realised anyway. I was gutted to see him go, but when someone's not there, they automatically become even better in your head, and I think that's what Johnston's become now. Terry's a humongous miss, not only on the pitch, probably off the pitch as well, because they felt something wrong with the players today, from body language and stuff. It just didn't feel right to me. I don't know whether you felt the same. I just sensed that there was something wrong. Yeah. Today with the players, Chester looked really uncomfortable, and when he's looking rattled, that's an issue because he's usually unflappable. I
thought it was quite interesting. There was a point where Chester berated Twanzebe, and Twanzebe's a huge guy, but you really saw in his face that he is still a young player. He's still got a lot to learn, and he just looked like a deer in the headlights a little bit. And you're right, though, there was a bit of an apathy, really, certainly in the supporters, but also it kind of came across, I said it before, with Hutton kind of shrugging his shoulders, just kind of, I don't know what to do here, and it just all looked lost.
I mean, Hutton was very good last season at left back, but I do feel like we're kind of not doing people any favours at the moment. Like you say, Twanzebe, you look at his face and he's just a kid. We're doing him no favours playing him right back because he's not comfortable coming forward, and in this day and age, your fullbacks have to come forward. They have to, and he's not comfortable doing it.
Well, that's what we said about
El Mohamed. He is comfortable doing it. Defensively, he might not be as astute, but going forward, he's comfortable, isn't he? But with him out of position, Jedinak out of position, we're just doing people no favours, and we're probably making people look worse than they are.
Yeah.
As well, playing that way. Jedinak's playing on the left of the centre backs as well. I haven't seen him use his left foot. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be left-footed, but He just doesn't look comfortable there. I think he'd be better served on the right-hand side, but then you're moving Chester onto his unfavoured side. So the defence, we were talking in the car before the game, the defence is a massive, massive problem now.
Yeah.
I don't see what the answer is with the current personnel to sort that out, other than moving Twanzebe inside. That's the only thing I can think of to do that will make it better. We saw there was one point where he had to make a massive recovery run to get back, and he thwarted the attack. I think we need that pace at centre back at the moment, because we look very one-paced in general. I'd just like to see him move to his natural position, and maybe that would get Chester back to normal a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We got back in the car and we heard a little bit of Bruce's post-match presser with, I think it was through BBC West Midlands, and he doesn't help himself with a couple of the things he said. I think he said, who could do this job better than me? Now, that's just a comment that he shouldn't be saying, in my opinion.
It's not for him to say that, really, because you're just going to provoke a negative reaction.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why he's saying that. He'll have his reasons. He's obviously a bit on the defensive.
Totally.
Isn't it? I'm not saying that's right, by the way.
No, but I mean,
it's a message to the people above. He'll be feeling it. Perhaps his job's under threat.
But it sounds a bit petulant. It's like, well, try and get someone better than me. That's not you as a manager. You should be going, look, this was an absolute shambles. I'm going to get these boys back in, and we're going to work as hard as we can to get this right.
Like you said, though, he berated the players after the last game. So it's very difficult for him to come out and do the same thing. Again, I always look at it as a collective blame. Obviously, Bruce kind of set us up well today because we've got beat 4-1, but the players didn't cover themselves in glory either. And I did. That was the first time I felt like I didn't feel like the players were totally playing for the manager. I don't know whether you felt the same. That was how I felt today, and that's a worrying sign.
Yeah,
that can never be a good thing, I don't think.
No, he also said that he also kind of peddled the line about we had 10 changes, but 10 changes from Burton is absolutely ridiculous. And he also said that a couple of the players weren't fully fit. Don't play them.
I mean, you've got a left back in Neil Taylor to play if Hutton's not fully fit.
Conor Hourihan,
and you've got Conor to play for McGinn. So in those positions, there's no need to risk. Codger, okay, I can understand that if you to risk it, and he's saying that's not an excuse, but why say it? Why mention it if it's not an excuse?
Yeah, you know, like we haven't seen, we don't have any strikers on the bench. Russian Hepburn Murphy is not a like-for-like swap for Codger. You know,
it's a big ask for Hepburn Murphy at the moment to come in. I feel for him.
And if you are going to put him on right next to Codger, change it into a 4-4-2.
Yeah, I've got to admit, when he brought Hepburn Murphy on, he then moved Codger out wide and.
Go 3-5-2 or something.
El Ghazi moved to the right. Yeah. Just put two up front. We're losing the game. Yeah. You may as well lose having it. May as well lose under the goal at that point and have a go, and the fans will respect that more. But I don't know. The fans that get on my back for not being Bruce out, when I see that today, how I can't defend that performance today. I can't defend what I've seen today because it was not good enough.
Yeah. A lot of Bruce stuff. It'll only get worse until a change of manager happens. That's from Stephen Deakin. John Adderley with the Bruce out hashtag. Jason Price. Looking at the squad, they have not many players over 1 million. This is Sheffield United. And look at the football they play. Bruce has no excuse. He has the tools, yet they look like they've never even trained with each other most weeks. I mean, some of them haven't really trained with each other, to be fair. Well, not to be fair, that's just the way it is. I said that to you, didn't I? The way that Sheffield United were playing triangles around us, they just looked well drilled.
Chris Wilder's a great manager.
Yeah,
I really like him. But they play three at the back. This is what I mean. Codger's up against three centre backs. There isn't a Villa player anywhere near him, and I've gotten Codger's back a few times in recent history, again he frustrates me. But really, what's he supposed to do up against three centre backs when there's no one anywhere near him inside? Yeah. We love the ball in the box. There's no one in there.
Yeah.
And it was bread and butter for the Sheffield United centre half. O'Connell must have loved today. Must have absolutely loved it. His stats must look absolutely brilliant for clearances and headers won, duels won, things like that. But we just made it easy for him.
Just looking at Twitter now, a lot of negative opinion on Bruce, on the game. We've talked about it. There was nothing positive to take from it.
If anyone came up with a positive from that, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. So we'll get into all your tweets and your comments and your opinions on the podcast as we always do. That'll be out on Wednesday. There's going to be a fair amount of content from this. We've got some fan cams. Again, you can kind of imagine what the mood was like there.
I wouldn't wait up for that one.
No. We've also got a bit of an on the road special. Sounds a bit like a David Brent parody. If you have enjoyed this, then I don't know how, but thank you. So make sure you like and subscribe with your post notifications on. Check out all the other stuff. We'll be back on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning with the podcast. But we'll keep on supporting the Villa.
No choice, Tom.
All you can do.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.